What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the August Love Story Podcast. I am your host, Tommy T. And my beautiful wife, Artieka T, in the building. We got a special guest, too, crawling around here. Quad is in the building as well.
Mm-hmm. He said, hey.
Lily is asleep. Today's episode should be a great discussion because it's something that we actually talked about previously. And I was like, we should, you don't?
No.
I was like, we should really talk about this on the podcast, but it's talking about growth and how we are different from when we first started dating, from when we got married and, when we became parents. And because it leads us into different roles in our lives that causes us to, see life a little bit different and look at things a little bit different. But before we get into the discussion, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe to us if you're listening on Apple Music or, Spotify, or actually YouTube has podcast places now. So subscribe to us everywhere. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, all the good things. Like, share, and comment too. Do you have a card?
I don't.
Look at you slipping on your pimping.
Okay, we'll do the card that we didn't do last week.
We did do.
No, we did one side.
Oh, okay.
We'll do the other side.
All right, that works.
Do you thrive more on variety and change, or do you prefer stability and routine?
It's funny. I like stability and routine to prepare for variety and change. Because it's like certain aspects of my life have to be straightforward. This is how it goes, scheduled. Mm-hmm. But then the other aspects of it is free, or, the change it's ever changing, and that's the better part of it. Mm-hmm. You think so too?
It has been a struggle for me to make my life more routine.
Yeah.
Because for the longest part of my adult life, up until my current, I take it back. I was about to say up until my current job, but it was happening before my current job. I worked in the beginning of adulthood. I worked a retail schedule. So basically you never knew what you were going to get, right?
Yeah.
And then when I moved, I always craved for the stability of Monday through Friday, knowing what was going to happen every day. And then when I got it, I was like, I don't think I like this.
Yeah.
So I think that I like variety and change because every day is different.
Yeah.
But I also understand that I have to have a routine for my family.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like you have to be adaptable to certain situations when it comes to having a family, like small kids like we do. Mm-hmm. You definitely have to be able to change on a dime because it's like things are going to happen. Mm-hmm. And that's unexpected.
Not just that, us, I try to provide the same routine every morning throughout the day, Monday through Friday with the kids, right? It's always different when you're here. Not necessarily that we're doing things, but that they have a second person to pull their energy towards.
Right.
But I have that set up, and Lily still asks me every day as if things aren't going to go that way. She'll come in and say, "Are we eating bacon today?" And I'm like, "No, we're going to have sausage." She's like, "And eggs?" Yes, yep. Lily, and eggs. And biscuit? Yes, Lily, biscuit. What about pancake? Not today. If we're having biscuits, we're not having pancakes. She's like, "A waffle?" So she I don't cook a lot of variety of things for breakfast, but it's like she still wants to make sure that the structure that she craves is still there.
Yeah.
And it's like now getting her to a point where she's about to go to school this year. She's going to be starting pre-K this fall. It's like now we're going to have to add a new layer into it because now it's like we got to get up in the morning. We got to, well, not that we don't have to get up in the morning, but you know what I mean? Like the morning routine is now more hurried.
The morning, it's... And that's the thing that's going to be that I know about you. It's going to be difficult for you because it's like that has to change.
Right.
Like
and I'm going to have to work through it this summer.
Yeah, your whole morning routine has to change. And you have 2 babies, you know. And that's the thing. It's like for me, okay, what changes, what we need to do, and then that's what I work on. It's almost like I accept the challenge of change. But when it happens, it's like, how do I get it into a routine? You know, because it has to be organized chaos. It's what I think about when I think of it, you know, because it's like I know where everything is or how things supposed to be. What are the things that I can just eliminate? Not got that mindset from, I think it was Steve Jobs wore the same shirt and pants.
It's not just Steve Jobs that comes to mind, but there's been a lot of like articles and stuff linked to wealthy people have like a uniform.
Yeah, it's I took it from the standpoint of the 5 to 10 minutes it takes me to figure out what I'm going to wear the next day adds up after a week. If I can get my attire down for the week, one less thing I have to worry about. If I eat oatmeal every morning when I leave the house, it's one less thing I have to worry about.
That's why our breakfast is so like basic.
Yeah.
Because I know that it takes this long to do this long to do this. And in the meantime, we can go use the potty, go do this, go do that. Like I have steps built in.
Yeah.
But I also have realized one mishap can just screw that all up.
And it's also something I think about a lot is when I get home from work, is I want that 5, 10, 15 minute of everybody's sleep and I can decompress from the day. And then, you know, everybody starts to wake up and stuff. It's when nobody has been to sleep or I walk in the door, Quad wakes up and then Lily has never been to sleep. And you're like, I just can't let her stay in there. Those are like, you're supposed to be asleep when I get here. So when like my 10, 15 minutes, I can use the bathroom. I can just, you know, get me a little snack, sit down. If it's something that I want to finish watching, I can do that. And stuff like that. But it's just, it's not there when they are up. And so that's a change that I have to adapt to. And a lot of times I look at being dad, being husband, being me, like you have to be adaptable to those situations because nobody cares if you're not. Like these things have to get done, you know.
It's just kids don't care.
I'm not even just putting it on kids, but it's us as human beings.
No, but I mean, like within your household, when it was just you and I, we did allow the other person to have that decompressing time, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember talking to you about that early on, and I don't remember if we were dating or if we were married at that point, but I was just like, I like to have a little bit of time to just come home and do nothing and not think about anything. And now we're not granted that time.
Yeah. And it took me some adjusting to get comfortable with that because that didn't make sense to me.
And now it does make sense to you?
I still don't, like for me, I don't need it like you need it. Like you need to be away, nobody bothers you. This because everything bothers you. But for me, more things bother you than it does for me. Because like for me, when that time I get home, it's like, all right, let me put on my other cap
Mm-hmm.
But when I don't have time to put on the other cap,
I think that's the thing is I don't have another cap.
Yeah.
My hat stays on 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just want to take it off.
But that's because you work here.
Right.
Like,
that's what I'm saying though. Yeah. But do you get that?
Nah, I get that. No, I
don't get to take the cap off. So it's just like that's why I'm like, I do need the more time to decompress because I'm always on.
Yeah. No, I get that. And I mean that's the adaptation that I ain't gonna necessarily say I like, but it's what you have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So but yeah, so adapting is all a part of our growth in how we were when we first, it was just us, right? Versus parenthood, Artieka and Tommy. Because
children don't care.
That looks really different now. It's like, all right, we're in it now. We have like it's even funny with my family, and they see our family dynamic, and they're like, wow, because they're seeing a different growth in me, where I go from being a boy to a man, husband, dad, provider, and all these things. So it's interesting to see that growth, and it's interesting also to understand where you grown from.
Right.
From not understanding in the beginning why you need your alone time when there's nobody taking your alone time. You know what I'm saying? But it's like just growing from the aspect of understanding, hey, okay, this is why she needs some alone time to come back and be the Artieka that I want to be with. Or just having that time, because I didn't look at it as a specific time of me being alone or doing something, like, because I play video games. And I enjoyed it when you was right there, not be sitting there playing the game and stuff like that, because I still looked at that as us spending time together, even though we're doing two different things. Seeing our growth here. And
so we're going to the actual episode now.
Yeah, like I've been there. Okay. I don't know where you was at.
I don't know. Go ahead.
But seeing our growth here, and like we started talking or dating each other 10 years ago. 26. We was 26.
Yeah.
And seeing you at 36.
2013. Yep.
Yeah. And seeing you 10 years later.
I'm not 36 yet, by the way. I might be by the time this comes out, but I'm not presently today.
Okay.
You and my brother be trying it.
No,
y'all think because y'all birthday came and went that mine has, and it is not. I'm still 35.
Well, I'm talking for myself.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm 36.
You are.
So seeing it from, a 10-year aspect, just how much my mind has matured, and the routines that I've matured in and want, just going from like understanding what goal setting is, because 10 years ago, I didn't know what goal setting was. I didn't even think about entrepreneurship. YouTube was not a feasible thing. Special people did YouTube for me, I
didn't really think about my YouTube consumption back then because I had cable.
Yeah.
Not to say that I don't have cable now.
That's even a growth for me. It's like I never had cable. But then with you, we've always had cable, except those times where we was like, why do we pay for this?
Because we're not watching it?
Yeah.
He is looking at the camera, chopping his gums.
I see it. But understanding my growth has helped me to understand your growth, and our growth definitely happened at different times. I would think that you were more mature on the front end, but on the back end, I was more like, okay, I know what I want to do. you know. For a minute, that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just really looking at it and thinking about it, because it's like I'm the way I am because my wife helped guide me there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how do I get my wife to where she needs to go? Like, how do I get to the point where I have my hand, I'm on the ladder and she's pulling on me to get ahead of me, and we keep pulling each other till we get to the top?
I think that one of the biggest issues for me has been that I got out of retail and I went into a career field that like you burn out of easily.
Mm-hmm.
So many people that I talked to that did what I did were like, I had to get out.
Yeah.
And I get it, because it's a use you up until I can't use you anymore. And then you can go ahead and go. Like, that's how the offices operate of both companies that I worked for. And I think a lot of it was because somebody at the top was trying to make more money. And so they weren't trying to essentially hire more people to aid in the growth of the business. They were just like, well, you've been doing it, you can keep doing it. And it's like, but if I'm doing triple the work, we need to at least hire one more person because I'm bringing you in the money. You making the money. I'm not seeing any of it. So I'm working for nothing. And then all you can give me is a pat on the back to say, good job. We'll sponsor a company dinner for Christmas. No, not gonna work. It doesn't feel right. So when I left my job, I felt like I don't want to say personal growth, because it's not a personal growth thing, but my professional growth took a huge dramatic pause.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to figure out what I want to do. I like aspects of the job that I currently do, but finding a company that will allow me to do the aspect of the job that I enjoy doing the most at a wage that can sustain essentially it makes sense. I don't want to say sustain, but make it make sense.
Yeah.
Has been difficult to come by. Like, people want you to have all these certifications and all these things. And I'm like, you don't need that if you know how to do the job.
Yeah.
And I get it, because it's kind of like the college scenario. I have a cousin who is amazing at what she does, didn't finish school. And she's like, I've been not offered jobs because I don't have a piece of paper that says I know how to do what I've been doing for 25 years. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
Do I want to get certification? Yeah, it's cool. I'll do it. Can I feasibly do it with 2 kids at home with me every day and I go to work? Probably not. So it's just trying to manage that situation to figure out what's the best path for me.
Yeah. Man, the thing about your professional growth, it affected our marriage because, and this is where I got the idea for this podcast episode, was because when your professional growth took a hit, mine skyrocketed. Because I got to a point to where, like, I had changed career industries. I had started going to school, got my master's degree, and in the field that I got my master's degree in. And then it's like, well, what are you doing?
Like, I left my job and then immediately got pregnant.
Yeah.
And then right after I had the baby, pandemic. So you don't even get the chance to try to figure out what you want to do next. You're just like, well, this is the next viable thing, so let's do that. Yeah. And it continues from there.
Yeah. But, and for me, that was the thing that took the hit. You know, we're not growing as a couple together. And that was scary to me just because it was like, if we, like my thought process, if we don't grow together, we're destined for doom. You know, we're destined to not like each other. We're destined to not want to be around each other and not hang around each other and stuff like that. So I'm like, that's not the case, you know, but it's more of, we have to be more intentional about the things because we understand that we're on two different levels on certain things. When it comes to like trying to figure out how do we move this ship in one direction when we're handicapped, essentially, you know, in a certain spot, because it's like, what's going on with you and how do I deal with this with you, you know, and that was something that I just didn't understand. And I was like, fix it. That was my answer to it, was fix it so I can, you know, figure out a way to deal with it. It got really bad for me because I didn't understand the idea of I don't know, because it was a thing of I can't say that or I can't do that. I can't say, what are you planning to do next, in a manner of, you know, if like, as far as like working and bringing in some type of income, because it wouldn't work for me, you know, it wouldn't work for me. And then, you know, that's not the expectation when we got married, but being able to adapt to it, I was able to understand, okay, well, she's going through her thing. I'm striving to be better in my thing, continue to strive to be better, but be her biggest fan, be her biggest support, and learn how to support her in the way that she wants to be supported. And I'm still learning that, but that's the thing that talks on the growth that I had from when we first got married, or even when we first started dating. Because say that happens when we first started dating, we don't make it here.
We would have broke up, because every time you ask me what you gonna do, and I told you I don't know at 6 o'clock this morning, and you asked me again at 6 o'clock this evening, I would have been like, I don't have to take this.
Yeah, and for me, it'd have been like, well, why am I with her? You know, what is she bringing to the table for me? And it's causing more stress on me to do this. And, you know, if that was before we got married, then I'd have been looking for an exit. And that's the thing that I think about all the time, is I never looked for an exit.
Right.
I only look for, how do you support? How do you step up in a manner that your wife needs you to step up? You just gotta adapt, man. That's it. But that's the idea of the growth in me versus what I saw the growth in you. You know, I felt like you were still growing in a sense of the other aspects like motherhood and all those things, but where I think we were failing the most was, how do we continue to grow in our marriage? Like a lot of times our marriage felt like it was taking a backseat to everything else because
it was. Because especially at this less than 5 age, they depend on you so much that's who you give and give to. And then your job became very demanding.
Yeah.
And I didn't have room to have anything else be demanding in my life. Because I couldn't be like, well, you pick up the slack on the kids. Because how does that work?
Yeah.
You can't get off at 10 p.m. and go pick up a kid from daycare. It doesn't work like that. It don't
work like that.
So it's like, the position that we were in, or that we still are currently in, because the light is at the end of the tunnel on like the next big hurdle that we're trying to cross over. hopefully by the time this episode comes out, the light will be in my face. And I'll be like leaving out of the tunnel. Yeah. But trying to figure out what we're going to do next, as far as trying to build the relationship back to premarital life.
Yeah.
I mean, not premarital life, pre-children life. It's difficult.
Yeah.
And you just have to, you got to take the good punches as they come. You have to take the good punches as they come, because there's really not much else that you can do when trying to make you feel like you and make your relationship feel like your relationship, when there's so much of your relationship that has changed and grown and evolved. And yet there's parts of it that haven't had the luxury of being able to thrive in the manner that you want them to thrive. I do think that as a relationship or as a personal thing, I may not be exactly where I want to be professionally, right? However, not being where I want to be professionally has given me the opportunity to flex my creative side. Like, I've been able to do more things, learn more things, as far as the creative side of me goes. I know a lot of times you wish those things made money, or all of those things made money.
I'm gonna be straight up with you. I'm just happy you're doing something.
Anyways.
Like, no. Like seriously though, it's like my biggest thing was the idea that I say, what do you want to do? And you say, I don't know.
And I still don't want to do any of those things as a job.
And my thing was, well, just try some stuff.
Yeah.
I've always said, throw some stuff out there, see what sticks, because that's essentially what I did. Mm-hmm. And it was like, because I got to accounting from banking, which I went into banking not trying to get into accounting.
Right.
You know, before I got into banking, I started a gaming team. Mm-hmm. You know, but it was
I
just
have no desire to do that whatsoever.
Right. It was just trying different things. And I never understood, or I didn't know how to support you in a manner that you just didn't know.
Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of it was, there's always been things that I wanted to do, wanted to try. But when funding is low, there is no, like, I don't even want to say desire. There's no path to that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Like, gardening is one of the most therapeutic things that I'm doing right now, right? Yeah. However, it is expensive to garden. And people be like, you're growing your own food. You're cutting out the grocery store. And it's like, yeah, I'm cutting out the grocery store, but I'm cutting in Home Depot.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that was the thing for me. I never really thought about, like, the cost of entry. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because I was gonna buy the things that I wanted, right? Mm-hmm. But it's more so the learning curve for me. Like, a lot of the things that I tried to do, it was always a learning curve, because it's something that I never, you know, it's always something new, and stuff like that. So it's, for me, and even with your gardening channel now, it's like, man,
it's not a gardening channel.
Or your, my bad.
It's what it seems like it's turning into.
No, I mean, like, that's what we're doing right now. So it's like, I understand. But it's like with your channel now, like, I'm so proud of your channel, and I look at your things, and I do what I can to support you in that because you give me a thing to cheer for you for. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's amazing that we both were in a place where we knew that our marriage at one point sucked. You know, and it was sucking the life out of us because it was just put on the back burner. You know. And now it's like we can say, hey, this sucked, but we're gonna do this to make it better, to course correct, basically. And that shows our growth in things and shows our understanding from where we come from. You know, from where just a timing thing, this may not be happening. You know? And it's like now it's like, no, this is gonna work and it's gonna work out. We just have to put in the work for it to work out. And understanding where that work comes from, you know. We've always talked about therapy, so you know, I imagine that we'll eventually get to it. Mm-hmm. But I think it's always good to have some type of refresh, recourse, and you know, kind of redirect and everything. So, what's the lyric for today? I
don't know where my phone is.
It's on the floor.
My child has disoriented me. So while we were outside in the garden, Unpredictable by Jamie Foxx came on, so I decided to do Ludacris's verse. He says, let me put a little bit of excitement up in your lifestyle. We got to know that time's of the essence. I'm talking right now. I can get rid of that headache. What you doing tonight? Some saying that sex is overrated, but they just ain't doing it right. That's as far as I'm going to go with this because you're going to start singing.
Yeah, I was singing while I was while you was talking. Well, that's it, man. Real quick, easy, to the point. Nice conversation.
Let's wonder how much of it is
I'm leaving
to be heard.
I'm leaving it all in there.
Oh my goodness! That boy was loud.
Man, this dude was talking today.
He
wasn't
is moving.
You trying to get it. But anyway, guys, thank you for listening to another episode of the August Love Story channel. Like I said, I'm your host, Tommy T, and this is my beautiful wife, Artieka T. And before you go, make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Comment below on the YouTube. If you're listening from YouTube, if you're listening from Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Deezer, wherever you're listening from on your audio listening device, like us, subscribe to us so you know when we drop something, and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not. What else?
That's it.
That's it? All right. Make sure you follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram. I think we're on TikTok as well at August Love Story. And you guys be blessed.
Bye, y'all.
Peace.